Yo.
Hey.
Hey. What's going on, man?
Got home from work. Gonna do some painting tonight.
Yeah?
Melchor, I found this artist by the name of the Bluefish Hotel. And it was really interesting, and I thought you should take a look. I mean, very unique. They're very distinctive, too, which I like.
It's a group?
No, it's not. I think it's just an individual. I'm not exactly sure, but I like what kind of content there is there.
Where'd you find this?
Just scrolling around Instagram. Recommended, really. But yeah, it looks like he hasn't been seen by, or I'm not quite sure, but they haven't been seen by a lot of people quite yet. But I really like what they've got. I could see them really blown up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the Bluefish Hotel is an artist named Jaylin Walker. And he's a rapper out of Los Angeles. He goes by Good Guy Jinn.
Oh, yeah? I think I did see that he had a SoundCloud link in his bio.
Actually, yeah, I really like this guy's stuff. Well, he and I were talking a while back.
Oh, really?
And he sent me a promotional video. Let me forward this to you right now.
I done talked to the baddest, guess who's on my line? I've been through the city shit, but guess who's on my mind? Every day and every night, all the time, every day and every night, all the time, yeah. Bobbing to the beat, I can't get no sleep, and I don't even walk on the floor, you can't see my feet. In the water for my daughter, I'ma take her other shits, but I know I gotta work way harder than they did. Then my phone charged up, why they talking shit? If I see him round the corner, we gon' have to flip a switch on these when they talking niggas always talking about they lane switching no pain. Just talking about me in the streets and I'm my enemy.
I like it. Shows him performing in his own sweatshirt. That's really cool.
Yeah, so I didn't expect all of this spinning. Like my Wi-Fi hotspot doesn't seem to be. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a call.
Do it. Yeah, I mean, that's a great coincidence that we're both looking at the same artist.
Thanks for bringing him up.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
All right, I'll talk to you later, Carson Roberts.
All right, see ya.
Hey, Jaylin Walker, how's it going?
What's up, man? How's it going?
What's up? It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too, man. Officially over the virtual.
Yeah, so I just got done watching your intro video. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, just a quick compilation, man.
That's your music in the background?
Yes, sir.
Nice. And so that's Good Guy Jinn?
Good Guy Jinn. Yeah, man. Split personality.
Yeah, that's something I was kind of like looking at you. You've got the bluefishhotel.net. And then your name is Jaylin Walker and you're Good Guy Jinn. As
an artist, yeah, man. Like, so I guess like in the music scene, Good Guy Jinn is what I'm formerly known as. But like when it comes to painting and like art, bro, it's always been like the Bluefish.
Bluefish Hotel. Yeah. One thing I was wondering, I mean, you can do this or not. I know it's expensive to like add this stuff up, but if you could get your hands on the bluefishhotel.com, which is available, and jaylinwalker.com, and route them to the bluefishhotel.net, you wouldn't have to create 3 different websites, but you'd have to buy the domains.
And then it would all be to the same place?
Yeah, it would all go to the bluefishhotel.net.
What? That's cool, man.
Well, have you ever noticed, like, if you misspell amazon.com, it still takes you there? So they've purchased the domain so that if you... But the thing is if people know you as Jaylin Walker, but they're going to have to know that you're the bluefishhotel.net in order to get to your artwork. So it would be nice to, yeah.
But like, you don't want to separate it into 3 different ways. But I think this is my dilemma. I'm at the place where I'm like, do I want to do the Bluefish Hotel in like in a under the radar type of thing? Like you just see it, you kind of know where it is. Like you know where it comes from because you see it so often. It stands for something, but people don't really know who did it. Or just be outright with it, be like, this is my Bluefish, everybody look at me. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's between the two, bro. So
you have a story behind the Bluefish Hotel, why you're using that.
Oh, yeah. So The story really comes from like my little brother before he was robbed and shot in Phoenix, Arizona. Like he was compassionate about like telling me about this idea, and he swore up and down he was like psychic, like he just knew the future, and he would just see it over and over in his mind. He'd be like, "Bro, I'm telling you, it's gonna mean something to you someday." Like he was so passionate about it, bro. Like, and he was like convinced that it was gonna mean more to me someday. More than it does to him. And like in that moment, I guess like I didn't understand that it was really him speaking about like in his self, he already knew something was coming and he wanted to leave that behind. And then like after he passed and I was like depressed, walking with my head down in North Hollywood, I was looking down and I seen it painted on the sidewalk, like just physically, like just written out. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like it was painted out, like it was all in one stroke for some reason, like the fit, and it was just perfect. So I just stood there and like, oh, like, what is he talking about that? Like, it hit me that it became like a reason to keep going, a reason to push forward, a reason to motivate others because I know others are also in that space where it's like we get really down or hurt or depressed, and like it's hard to go on in the morning when you wake up, you know.
And then you like receive a message from someone, you know, that it was meant to be. I think it's a really good platform for you as you like expand. The Bluefish Hotel almost makes me think of a place that like artists can take up residence. It gives you a platform to work with other people and like be in the Bluefish Hotel. You just picture all of these different rooms and places you can go, and here's art and here's music, and like I really like that. And
it's amazing that you see that, because that's the exact vision that I had in mind for creating like a company out of this and bringing life and longevity to other people's lives too, because you know I've always been around like many different artists since I was little. You know, my mom being a manager, so she's always managing like different singers, rappers, producers, and like always being on the road, so she was always gone. And then my dad starting his own business and growing like a small carpet cleaning business to like a full spectrum company that could actually, you know, like have employees and stuff. So I've always seen like those business aspects, but I've always wanted to create a way for people that are in the arts, especially in Arizona, because like people don't have opportunity out there like they do in LA. So our resources are like short in Arizona. Like we barely have any place to go record music. You know what I mean? It's hot outside, so nobody wants to chill in like an environment or be around each other. Coronavirus is happening now, so it's even more reason why people don't want to really hang out. So it's a mass separation in Arizona, and there's not a creative space for people to go to express themselves there. Not to say that Arizona is that only place, because I know a lot of places are low on resources, but I want to be able to supply them with that. I want people to be able to feel like when they wake up, they know what they can do, where they don't feel like they're wasting their creative efforts, because I've been there too. Like, you know, like I get pissed at myself if I don't paint every single day. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I'm not doing something creative every single day, I'm just angry, just beating myself up.
So are you in Phoenix or are you in North Hollywood?
Right now, I'm in Studio City in California.
California. So you consider yourself an Arizona artist or a California artist?
I gotta say California, because that's where I really started painting. Like I moved out here when I was 16. When I first came out here, like I had no idea what I wanted to do, and it was really more about just like, I guess, rapping for me, because like since I was a kid, I was always rapping. Third grade, my teacher would ask me like perform every Friday type of thing. So she'd be like, because I was talking so much in school, I was always talking to everybody. Like just I had so much to say, you know what I mean? Like and I couldn't wait to get to school to just gab at the mouth, you know what I mean? So when that happened, like she was just like, you know, if you want to express yourself every Friday, you have the floor from this time to this time. And I would just freestyle rapping, and then like performance on the playground. So it really just started like, I guess music was really what brought me into painting, because I was sometimes when I'm trying to do the music, I'm trying to type it out. The only way I could really express it, like to get out this forefront like barrier, is to paint first, and then I can really dive deeper into the music. It helps me get really, really connected to it and to the person I'm trying to talk to.
Painting makes you write music.
Yeah. It's and like I usually paint from the music that's in my head, or based on the style that I'm thinking of. Is like it all comes from the music. I mean, when I was like a child, I used to draw comic books, like just grab a stack of regular papers, fold them in half, put little staples on the side, and then just like draw, like put one line down the middle, bunch of little stick figures. But they were like the coolest detailed little stick figures. They had color on them, like capes, and they were extra. Like they were so extra. But that's all I would do, and I would just sell the comic book, and then like people would buy them because they were like, it's like nobody else was doing it.
You were too young to copyright anything.
Yeah, too young to copyright anything. So it was like, yeah, exactly. So nothing was like you know.
Your drawings are really detailed. I like the layers. So you've got a couple mediums going on. You're doing murals. Do you currently do that? That's what.
So I've done like water towers and murals and stuff like that. I couldn't find all the videos, sadly, but yeah, I've done stuff like just that was back when I just like needed to get that creative urge out, you know what I mean, and make sure that I was expressing it the best way I could. But like honestly, at the time, nobody was giving me a chance. Nobody's like, yeah, go ahead and do my store, or like, you know, I was looking around asking a bunch of people, but like people don't really take a chance on you unless you already have a portfolio or you have like a, you know, your resume. So like I would just take it upon myself and be like, I'll pay for all the paints, all the supplies, everything I need, and I'm gonna go hit this wall and make sure it goes up. Like this one time I was coming back to a wall for like a whole month, just coming back to it, spending time on it for a whole month. I wanted to make blue fishes on the path leading up to the mural itself, so people could like have an experience with it, try to gain some something profound from coming there or passing by that. So I was spray painting this blue fish onto the concrete, and I had one, and I was like, okay, that looks good, so let me go to the next one. I go to the next one, I'm shaking the can, and this dude in the RV that lives next to where I'm spray painting, he just lives parked next to this mural site, which was the weirdest thing. Like, why is there an RV randomly right here, right? This guy comes out and he's like, hey, you can't be doing that here. And like, I ignored him, like he wasn't there. And I was like, man, I got to finish this bluefish. Like that, because like that obsession was just like, I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to get this out, whatever happens. So I'm ignoring him, still painting. He comes over, grabs my arm. He's like, hey, I'm calling the police. I was like, bro, don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me. And then like after that point, I walked over to the mural, started finishing the mural, like minding my own business. He called the police, and then he starts recording me while I'm painting, and I'm like, showing off with my ego on the camera, like looking at doing extra stuff. But at the time, I didn't think to like get away from that moment. Like I didn't think a way of like, maybe I should go, or maybe I shouldn't paint today. Like, you know what I mean? But I think that was the lesson of like greed I learned, is like doing too much. It has to be quick. It has to be fast. You got to get in and you got to get out. You know what I mean?
I can't believe you got in trouble because of a homeless guy in an RV with an iPhone.
Yeah, with an iPhone. But anyways, yeah, the police were like around the corner. I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and I was just like, I think I'm about to get arrested right now. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, and like, she was just so frightened. And I was like, oh man.
Is that a misdemeanor?
Yeah, it was a misdemeanor, but they, on the paper, the fine was like $50,000. I was like, no, 50.
The maximum fine?
The maximum, like, really 50,000, like, like, dang, it was that much wall damage. Like, that was a crazy experience for me, like, to be honest with you, because like I learned that like street art was not the way I wanted to go. So I transitioned to doing like fine art and focusing on like details I could give people as a gift, like so they could take it to their homes, take it to the different spots, you know what I mean? So after that, like I went into like painting like things that I found, like wood pieces, giant wood chunks, or like something that I could keep up in the park. And I would just keep my paintings at the park and just let whoever comes by it, sees the bluefish, and they pick it up and take it with them. You know what I mean? So I give plenty of art for free. You know what I mean? I would do this for free if this wasn't a world.
If you do it for free, it's not sustainable though, it's a hobby.
Exactly.
One thing that I would say, in Portland and Seattle, the street artists kind of run as a gang and they move fast. And you gotta kind of, if you like look into my Instagram a little bit further, there's a hashtag Hello Kitska, which is where I found out about street art. I don't know if I can give this advice on YouTube, but they run with masks, they run fast, they plaster, and then they're gone, and then they all go to dinner.
That's crazy.
I mean, it is a form of vandalism. I don't know how LA, Seattle and Portland seem to be a little more rambunctious. But yeah, I mean, street art is like a whole thing, but a lot of artists like start out like you and then move into canvases because, like you said, they don't want to. You can look into nonprofits too, street art nonprofits, and then you could actually get paid to do the street art, and it would be legal because it would be funded.
That's interesting. That actually sounds like a good idea too.
So you've got a couple of lines on you've got some clothing lines, or how are you distributing this?
So distributing, I have the product, now it's about the presentation for me. me. So it's about packaging and making sure that it's very desirable, because like, you know, I get requests all over Instagram, and really that's been the platform where everybody reaches out to me. So like they'll reach out and be like, hey, can I get that jacket? Hey, can I get that sweater? So I know the demand is there for those specific pieces. And like, it's not like I make multiple of those same ones, so they have their originality to them. But right now it's more so like about getting it on the website and making sure that people see it, you know what I mean? Because like, that's like, I spend money on like the quality of material, you know what I mean? I want it to be really good when people put it on. I want it to feel really good, and like they feel like nobody else has this in the world. This aesthetic is me, you know what I mean? And for the one-offs, those are specifically for people that are looking to wear a stable piece, like when they have something that they need to do and they want to be able to wear something that nobody else has, right? But I definitely will have like, you know, more simple tees with like the Bluefish logo on them for like consumer friendly, you know, just for everybody to have, you know what I mean? So they could, you know, be a part of what's going on, because the people that are invested and people that are like really looking at it, they're really like looking at it like, I need that, but I'm not willing to spend like $680, but I'm willing to spend like 20 on a t-shirt. So you gotta, I think you got to have it for every bracket that you could get in.
Yeah.
I guess mine is like heavily influenced from like hip hop and rap, because like I've been around that most of my life, producing for people or being in studios, and I went to school for like audio engineering. So like everything has been around like music, but the art just seems to like kind of bleed into it. And then like every time I go to studios or I'm around artists, I always want to make them something anyway. So I want to make sure that they have a gift or like some type of something to carry on. And I think it's really important, like word of mouth is spread, you know what I mean? Because once you get a quality product, you're going to talk about it and you're going to tell other people about it, you know, as long as it's like detailed and like you put your heart into something.
I wanted to talk to you about, I found this piece on your website. It's called, I See Why People Get Killed. Mm-hmm. You're charging $2,000. Mm-hmm. Is that a digital image or is it an original?
This is definitely an original canvas piece. I also didn't put the size on there yet. I mean, still building the website out, so we definitely want to get the details. But the reason why it's 2,000 is because it's like, you know, I've been researching like great artists and people that really want, you know, to create something that gives back to the world and that really gives to causes that they really believe in. So like I read this book called Contagion that was suggested by Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace to Nipsey, by the way. But like he suggested that you read this book Contagion, and in that book it was talking about this Philly cheesesteak that was like $100, and it was like all the talk. But that restaurant that had started, like they were failing before that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have anything that really brought people in. They had the aesthetics. It was a fancy restaurant. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. But like it wasn't bringing people in until they got that cheesesteak in, because it started the talk of the town. Like everybody started to tell each other like, this cheesesteak, man, like it's crazy. And it's like experience. I want other people to have something like this, like, and then start telling each other, you know? So for me, charging $2,000 for a painting is just saying that like somebody that really supports me, somebody that really understands that you know, the vision, they'll be willing to do that because they know that it's giving back in some way. Because once I get that, then I'm just going to grow the business into what the next step is. So, I mean, really, it's like, it's just an investment, an informed investment. And then how I see it also is with my art, when people purchase it, I upgrade it throughout time. So I add things to it and I add value to it over time. And then as I grow as an artist, their painting will grow in value. They'll get more money for, right, like for their grandchildren, you know? So I'm always looking at it as like, it's a business move. It's an investment. You know what I mean? People are spending their money.
You've got these other pieces that are a little bit more detailed, and you're charging $700 for them.
Only because those ones are a little bit smaller. The larger ones, I'm definitely going to stay in the range of like, I want to stay in 1,350, but it's going to increase over time. So like right now while it's there, it's cool, but like it's definitely going to multiply, especially when I'm communicating and connecting with these resources that I already have. Like I just did a painting for Harmony Samuels, and he's produced like platinum records for many great artists like Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I know once like I keep going with those connections, because there's other people that are coming up, it's just going to increase the value of it. So right now it's at that price range, but it's only going to go up from there because like I said, you know, like people are going to start talking about it.
Well, this is like your angel investor piece, you know, if you could get that specific pieces, artwork has resumes as well, you know, the provenance of like the lineage of the piece. If you could get that into some exhibitions where that message that you're telling me is sort of like announced to the world, I think you could get, you know, that amount of money for it. You know, you need to figure out how to set up an exhibition.
I've only had one exhibition, I guess, and it was called Raw Artists, and it was their Los Angeles show. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was a really fun show, and I got to tell a lot of, you know, the story of the Bluefish. But, you know, what came out of that was more connection and sentimental value. But I didn't make a sale that day. So, like, something told me inside, like, the demand for somebody to buy something from hearing the story, they need to connect with it in some type of way. You know what I mean? Like, they have to have some type, it has to resonate with them in some type of way.
That specific show, though, is if you look at the demographic, the people that are attending it, remember they had to pay, like, what did we have to pay? Like $60 to get into it if you didn't have a booth. You guys had to pay like $150, $250 to get into it. And then it's not really curated, and people maybe I shouldn't talk down about like this show, because people do find success with it, but people pay $60, you show up, there's a concert going on, there's some sort of like ballet thing going on, and like they've got like models in the middle of the room, and all the booth people like yourself are kind of like smashed off to the side, and people are stumbling in. I think that type of show, what you're going to sell a lot if you do it again, are prints and like stickers and like postcards, because the people they're there to be seen, to see, and to get a little drunk. But after spending $60 to get in, like the age group of the people, I don't know if they're not going to like drop $200, $300, $700 and walk out of there with a canvas. They might, but that's my take on Raw.
I like you. I like how you figure out.
When I went, like the line of people going into the place was around the corner. You know, like people were dressed up, they were going in, and it was a party.
I had a good time. Definitely had a good time. But I hear what you're saying. It was definitely like a in and out type of thing, because the things people were buying were like trinket size, you know what I mean, a really small thing. So I hear you 100% on that. That is a good idea to continue on with it. I think with like shows and like exhibitions, like I've never really really searched for that. I've always liked, I guess it's like this method of like, I'm making something and I want to put my frequency into it. As I'm putting my frequency into it, I think it'll reach certain people that need that in their lives. Like it'll touch them in some type of way, and they'll find it. But I guess the thing with like social media is like, you want it to pop up in front of a bunch of people, but you also don't want it to dilute the value or be like, you know, this is everywhere. So my trouble with it is like, I wonder if doing those little prints and like taking it and downsizing on everything makes it less exclusive.
One thing that they say though about repetition of an image, and one of the reasons why we're so in love with Van Gogh, like whether or not you think he's any good, is just because you've seen it every day, like since you were a child. So if you walk into a gallery and it's on the wall, your heart's gonna like just jump out of your head because you see it.
I like that. The consistency. Yeah, man. I just seen last night, I was watching Ed Sheeran, and he was talking about like the 10,000 hour rule. And I've heard it many times before, but like definitely like if you're putting in all these hours, you're guaranteed you're going to be in like some type of light, you know what I mean? Some type of presence where you're like, I put in so many hours. It's just like glowing off of my skin. You can see how much I love this. Like, you know what I mean? And you're just in people's face all the time. So I think that's really important too, is like exposure. But I've also heard from like Gary Vee that, you know, like overexposure is not a thing. Like there's no such thing, because we have the phone now, because our information that we get is so quick that it's just like overload is like the best way to go. I'm like, all right, well, I'm with that. We're just going to throw a bunch of stuff in their face.
Yeah. So if you could,
I'll ask a manager of artists that same thing, and they'll be like, no, don't do that. Like they, like, you know, they'll say like, spread it out throughout the week. Like you have 1 week, you post on this day of the week, and then you don't wait a couple of days and then drop something. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting concept. I guess it's a little different for music and then for art. Like, you know, you got to space it out and let music build its numbers. You know what I mean? And then give some people something to wait for. It's the same method that Drake uses, you know, when he comes out with his albums or his music, you know.
The difference is that they're looking for like 10 million people to listen to their song, and we're looking for like one person that has like an empty wall. But, you know, you sell, like I think I've sold to everybody that I know. Now I got to sell to people I don't know. Like, and that's where it starts getting hard, is that nobody knows you're there, nobody knows your story, you know, and so in order to get it in front of people, that's where the media saturation comes in, I think.
Media saturation, yeah, that's true. I guess that's where rap really helps with like the art, because getting people to know me is through the music, and I think that's where I get the most engagement is through like when I drop music or when I come out with a video. There's a lot more engagement there. But when it comes to like art, you know, you'll drop art and then like you spend all this time on art and then like you spend at least like your whole night. You stayed up through the whole night until the next day, right? Trying to get this piece finished. You post it the next day and it's like 13 likes. That's cool. Like that's cool. I've seen it. It's nice. But you know, but not a lot of eyes fall on it. But I think it is about those select eyes that do fall on it that actually people are paying attention.
Is the Bluefish Hotel, is that a Facebook page?
It is. I haven't really used it though as a resource. Like I don't really know how.
Do you pay for, I mean, if you used it as a resource, if you dropped your painting there and then if it's a page, if it's a business page, you can pay for advertising. And then it targets like people that are using like, you know,
I've seen on the Facebook method as well that there's like this when you're dropping something on Facebook and you're using the advertisement sense, you could drop it specifically to everyone's birthday that's coming up, like specifically everyone's like, you know, show like happy birthday, get 50% off, and then it just pops up on everybody's page that has a birthday on that date. I'm like, it just goes to everybody with that date.
You could do that with your sweatshirts or like something, you know.
That's a good. I like you, man. I'm gonna talk to you more often. I love you.
Well, you know what we could do? I don't know if you've seen this, but sometimes when I interview an artist, we will connect with somebody else.
Dope.
And then I interview another artist with the person that I've already interviewed with.
Oh, that's sick. I seen that in the other interview that you did with
Mamie Young.
Mamie Young.
Carter Roberts and I we just did an interview with Artsy Shark. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Artsy Shark. I'm typing it down right now, man.
Yeah, Artsy Shark is a cool resource for artists like and running their business.
Artsy Shark.
She since like 1998 has been doing publications and teaching artists how to like become business people with artists. But you know, she ran a whole company. Anyway, it's interesting. I'll publish that soon. But
what do you think about like when it comes to like the business side of art and then being the artist? Do you think that most artists should know the business side at least to it, or just focus solely on the?
I mean, I think that the model of like using a gallery and you sitting back and like just creating art is the ideal. You know, if you're hooked up with somebody that can like just, you know, take care of everything for you. But you know, a lot of artists, a lot of seasoned older artists that I know, you still have to run after the gallery. So if you're in a gallery in Phoenix and you're in a gallery in Scottsdale and you hear through the grapevine that one of your pieces have sold in the gallery in Phoenix and they haven't contacted you or paid you, you're still running. I mean, you're still running a business. You know? And I started kind of doing this because, you know, I mean, everybody's talking about you need a side hustle, like get your side hustle. And I'm like, well, either I'm going to like start hustling and trying to sell watches online, or I've got my own product that costs as much as a watch anyway, so why not sell that?
I respect that.
You know what I did want to talk to you about was the LA art scene.
What, the LA art scene, you said?
Yeah, like how would you? It doesn't sound like you guys are running around in packs of street artists. You know, like
man, the LA art scene for me, like this is what I'm exposed to on the daily. I'm around rappers, singers, writers, and just performing artists. You know what I mean, all day long. And the way they move is very is two-sided. So like one side, you'll see like the independent artists, and they're just like working, putting in their 10,000 hours, you know what I mean? Trying to make as much music as possible with what resources they have, and they're trying to get by. Those are like the homies trying to hustle. That's what I would call it. And then you go to the label side, and they have everything handed to them, everything that they need, every resource that they need to make the best music that they can as soon as possible. And then like they become spoiled in a way, you know what I mean? So it's either like where the demand is with LA art, like to help anybody that's like really trying to get out there with the art. There's always performing artists that are looking for the art, like because they need it, because since their focus is putting it in words, they want to be able to express that in different ways. Like just for example, like, you know, back when Kanye West's Graduation came out with Murakami, you know what I mean? Like that expressed Kanye West in a different way just because of doing that collaboration. So when an artist, a singer, like and somebody that's in a musician, the music side of things, find somebody that can do the art, it's a great synergy because you're creating like the vision that you both see into one entity. You know what I mean? So like, for example, like the LA art scene, like to answer your question, is like the LA art scene for me has always been like connecting with people and trying to tap into their story they're trying to tell. You know what I mean? And it's about like this level of communication that you could bring across in what you're trying to do for them, what you're trying to create for them. But yeah, like I mean, like I see, like if I'm talking about the streets, like I've seen like tags all over North Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like there's tagging all over there. There's murals all over there. There's bluefishes all over there, all over the concrete.
You
But
guys kind of like, it's almost like you guys work off of connections.
connections, yeah, I think it's word of mouth. Like it's really just being passed on through the industry, because in that industry there's a lot of respect for us artists. You know what I mean? Us artists that paints and do graphics or do murals and stuff like that. Like they really need it, because there's a lot of music, and like SoundCloud is like has so many artists on it. You know what I mean? Like everybody that thinks that, like has a voice thinks they can rap, but you have to select like your excellence, your level of excellence, and the people that you're gonna work with. You know what I mean? So like the demand, so many people. It's a hungry market there. It's a really hungry market. So like for the LA scene, like just I say like find other creatives that you can help bring their vision to life, and make it about like connecting with people and trying to do stuff for them, and it like giving them something that they will remember. It'll always get passed on. Yeah, that's like that. Like that's where my excitement comes from, man. Like I can't wait to work with artists that are that you know can speak their vision clearly, and then we can just bring it to life. And like it's like making a little baby. You know what I mean? Like you're just so proud. You're like, oh my god.
All right, well, Jaylin, I think it was nice to talk to you. I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna edit this together. I speed it up, and I move things around a little bit.
Cool. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna reach out to you like outside of this the interview and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you for having me on, interacting with me, man, and then reaching out. You know.
Yeah, keep up the good work. I like your stuff.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Good.
Don't forget to follow Melchor Moore on YouTube.